Welcome back to Half A Hot Rods. Today we're getting back to work on the 57 Chevy truck on a 97 Chevy chassis. And for 2 or 3 weeks we've been promising to do cab mounts, and I've actually done a little bit each time. So now we're putting all that together. We're finally going to finish those cab mounts. It's going to be kind of here and there and all over the place because I did do it in 3 separate weeks and 3 separate attempts while I was doing other stuff. So here we go. I got the body mount bolt out on that side to see if I could. So now we're going to try it on this side and see if I can do it again. Remember, it's cut off on the bottom. Somebody commented on how that's going to make it harder. Mr. Negativity. Got him. Got him. Got him. Matt thought that would be hard. Alright. Now, I'm kind of thinking we go cut the mounts off the old frame and use them at least as a template. I don't know if there's room. I don't know, because that's pretty close to the frame. You can see the frame down through there if I get the angle right. So these would be the rear cab mounts. They're more than 3.5 inches high, so we could cut them down to the desired height and then just box in the bottom. And how do we attach them to the other side? To the frame? I don't know, because they go inboard of the frame. They're not outboard of the frame like usually. I don't know what the answer is. I think that's probably the easiest place to start, assuming I can get them off of there. Worked for Chevrolet, probably worked good enough for me. Okay, so the factory cab mount on the truck is right here. My temporary wood block's probably going to be right in the way. On the 57 chassis, this would have sat under there like so on the outside of the frame. Alright? Don't be jumping off there. But we can't do that. I don't think it'll sit. This is what I'm wondering, is if I square this up and sit this down far enough, can I use this mount or something like it and just sit it on top of this 97 frame? And then, stand by. This is a factory body mount off of 97. That like so. I mean, it wouldn't take much to make this fit over here. Over there it's going to be a pain because the gas tank's in the way. I really don't want to take the gas tank down, but we may end up having to. So yeah, that could go just like that. Or this is a 97 mount. We could mount that on there, something like that, and just go through it. That might even be easier, because we could have Wyatt weld this, especially if it was flat. Everything I got is angled because that's how it was originally built. But if I had this in here like so. And then maybe a chunk like this. Does that make the difference? Doesn't look like it, does it? Be real close though. Not really. You use this and just square it up. The problem is there's no room to work, and the only way to get it out of there is to get the temporary, or the only way to really fit this is to get the temporary stuff out of the way. The temporary.
Then they learned how to talk.
Garbage that I did before out of the way. I wonder if I can push that 4x4 forward more so it'll still hold it, but it'll be out of the way to do this. Then I can take those bolts out of there. This shouldn't move now, right? It's all welded at the steps and everything. I'm really leaning towards this type of setup. We just got to figure out how to do it on top of the frame here. And then can we do it on the other side? That's the question. Because I'd like to do the same thing twice. Let's go look at the other side. There's a lot more in the way over here. There ain't going to be much room between that and the tank. Well, I think we need to take those bolts out of there and then see what we got. Let's get the bolts out and then we'll play with it some more. Okay, the bolts are out. Got a little fan noise now because it's getting warm out here. And let's see what we can see here. So again, this is the 57 body mount. This will almost go up onto there. It'd be wrong to just stick a piece of pipe under that and weld it to the frame. That's probably not the right way to do it, but it's sure tempting. Let's see what we can do here. That's good for that. At that rough service bulb, boom shakalaka, doing her job. Can't let go of the past, gotta use the old school light. Of course, it wouldn't have been a problem if I didn't have it wrapped around the weed whacker, which is stored on the back of the truck. Makes sense. I don't think that's level. No, it's not. Right there. Of course, that's on the edge of the frame. That just won't do. Fun. You having fun yet, hound dog? He's having loads of fun. That's pretty much straight up and down through the center of the body now. Or we offset to the hole that I already had. That's still through the body mount, but that's at the top. It's still through the body mount on the inside, but it's not through this reinforced part here. So we just add more to that? Because if we move that one out, it's way more gooder, centered on the frame, add a steel block and a rubber bushing and go to town. Or this is a body lift mount. I mean, it would almost make the distance. What to do, hound dog, what to do? This 4x4 is not really holding anything now. The cab moved a little bit when I let the straps loose, I guess. So, we got all these parts and pieces. Too much? That's too much. I think this one's Mas Pequeño. No, it's not. And these are urethane, so I wouldn't need rubber on top of them, right? So is there any reason that I couldn't just stack them like that, weld this one to the frame, weld a nut to the underside of this hole, and call it a mount? And by me, I mean, we'll have Wyatt do the important welding, because we've seen how that's going so far. I mean, problem is he's not going to get to it on that side because the... Oh, that's a wood block, dummy. I was thinking the cab was in the way. The cab's not in the way. He could get to both sides of that. It wouldn't be super easy, but he could do it. Or drill another hole in the frame, run everything through, just tack the metal block, but run your bolt and nut all the way down to the bottom side of the frame. That way they're more accessible. Not really on that side, but accessible enough. I don't know how.
I really don't know.
Alright, I think the body lift is the way to go. Let's look at the other side again. Why do I have a body lift laying around, you ask? A better question might be, why don't you have one? It was a good deal on Marketplace, and I thought I needed it right then and there. Turned out right then and there was a bit of an overstatement. Yeah, see this one, yeah, it would also be better if we went to the new hole I drilled. So Matt and I had the width pretty good on this. We just didn't have the front to back location right where we needed it yet. We could go like that, only it's going to be really tough to drill in this frame now without taking the cab completely off, which I've now welded together. And the fuel lines are under it. That's probably crooked. I don't know what to do here. Do we use the factory mount? Is it really worth trying to save it? And if we don't use it, what do we have to add over here to make this so it's what it should be? I mean, really, we could cut and put a piece of channel over either side, and it should add enough structure to it, right? A piece on the frame and a piece on the bottom of the cab. The problem is the cab is a lot less mobile now because of all the boogers. This might be a good time to take a break, think about what we're doing, and clean up all the dirt and metal shavings so I don't have to lay in it, and then come back to it and see if anything just genius strikes me. What do you think, Hound? Is anything genius going to strike me, buddy? Probably not. Alright. Shoot, I don't know. Sure be cool if I could just use that cross member. Or could I build a cross member like that? This is why we might need to take a break. Think about what we're doing. Because I might just... that cross member wouldn't be a terrible idea. Or do we build something back here that reaches forward so that it's easier to weld on, and then everything is simpler? So we don't want to lose that cross member. That's where our carrier bearing's mounted, our tank is hanging off it. We want to keep all that. But there's no reason that our mount couldn't start for the cab. The cab mount could start right back here against it and then come up and then flatten out and be just a touch off center, because they'll find strength from the cab once it's bolted together. Maybe, Hound. Maybe. Let's take a break, put our thinking cap on, and where's the thinking cap? Yes, the thinking cap. We'll do some cleaning up, do some thanking, and come back once I've made a decision, or talk to somebody that knows something and maybe they'll help me make a decision. Okay, we'll be back. All right, I've cleaned up some of my mess. As usual, Hound was no help. Thanks, Hound. Thanks for nothing. No thumb bum. But I've got some ideas now. And what they amount to is reusing these factory, so these are 97 front mounts. And rather than make a cardboard template, because I'm such an expert metal worker, I decided to just cut down one of those and, measure once and cut, well, if we're fixing to cut the second time. But I think it can work. But I've got to get this obviously closer. The way I measured this, the end of this should have been right on the frame, and obviously it's way back in there. So I missed. So we're going to bring that around as much as I can, mark it again, cut it again. Measure once, cut 3 times. That's what they say. Let's see if I can get it back out of there. I've been trying to pry up on it to get it to sit all the way in place. And it won't. Like, I'm picking up the whole cab and it doesn't want to slide over the rubber. But we'll worry about that later. That's probably extra rubber. And my wrecked 57 sheet metal is in the way a little bit. I was going to mark that. Now on the other side, it's going to present its own challenge with that fuel tank, but that's a problem for later me. We'll worry about that when we get there. Good thing for me that metal's also flexible, huh? It's willing to work with me. So we'll just follow that line all the way around. We'll try it again. Oh man, all right. Now we just need something to make that stay up there and connect to the frame, right?
What?
And still allow us access to our bolt. That's the catch. My hand was stuck. Could it go this way? Ooh, look at that. I could go that way too. Which way is better? I don't know. Do you know? Does anybody know what I'm doing here? Because I sure don't. We just box that in? Well, not completely. Because if we box it, then we can't get to our bolt. But we can get to it from the front, pretty much. Because once it's tied together to the cab, I know what you're thinking. It's going to want to lean in because there's weight on it, right? But if both sides are tied together, they can't push each other in unless the cab collapses. And if the cab collapses, we've got bigger problems. The bigger issue is going to be on that side because there's not enough room for the mount, let alone there's not enough room for the rubber bushing, let alone the other piece. It might be time to start playing with cardboard. But I think this is what I want. I don't know why we couldn't just build that out of a chunk of steel. I mean, that's basically what this is just... The ones on the 57 cab don't even have the roundy round part on the edge for extra strength. They just sit out there flat. They don't have any whoop-de-doo. So, we could basically build this the right height with a bigger hole, weld it to the frame, and call it good. Couldn't we? I don't know why we couldn't. The real question is, can we just use this and cut it out for the bigger bushing? Or does it make more sense to go get 57 bushings and mounts and use this? Maybe we'll go eat some lunch and look and see how much rubber body mounts cost for a 57. If they're cheap enough, it might make sense to just use these mounts, cut them down, because I feel like by the time we square this off at the right height, we're still going to have plenty of meat to weld to that frame. It'll just sit on there like so. Hound dog, you ready for lunch break, buddy? Where you at? Hound dog, you scared of rain? Yeah, I don't like the rain, Adam. It's noisy. Ready to get back to work, buddy? Okay, we're back from lunch and thinking and shopping, and the rubber bushings from 57, I thought I remembered, but I had to go double check. They're pretty thin, like half an inch. My concern is if I cut my bushing down to only a ½ inch tall, then I'm going to have to use so much of this that it's going to be not as stable as I want it. So now what I'm thinking is maybe I can trim that bushing down to fit this hole. I don't know. Yeah. Because that would only be, that way we'd only be 2½ inches high. And if this is 2½ inches, that would still leave a lot of meat on that mount to weld. And I think would be okay, because we'd have all this. Was that a couple inches? Yeah. So, I guess we'll take one of those bushings off there and see if I can trim it. Like, maybe stick a hole saw on it, or I don't want to do it with a pocket knife because I feel like that's going to end badly. Probably the hole saw will end badly. Yeah, I don't know. Probably going to ruin that bushing, but I know where to find more, so I'm not super worried about it. But yeah, I guess that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to do that. We're going to pull this bushing out and see if we can make it fit the 57 steel mount. The other thing at play here is, well, I guess as long as that metal bushing fits. Ooh, does that metal bushing fit? The metal bushing fits through there. And I know the body mount bolts on the 97 didn't fit super tight, so we need a bigger washer than this, but you get the idea. That could work. couldn't it? That might could work just the way it is. I don't know. Is that the wrong way to do it? Next step, cut these down to 2.5 inches from the top. Probably gonna have to zip this guy off. Let's try it. What do we got to lose? We've already blown most of the day here, and I've accomplished almost nothing. So, why does that look way too tall? Oh, because I didn't allow for the bushing. My 2.5 included this going down in, which it doesn't. So now it's too tall because I'm a dum-dum. So we need to take that down some more. That'll work on that side. Let's see, let's make another one. I think we take just a shade off this bushing and just a shade off that mount. And we'll be golden, pony boy.
Stay gold, pony boy.
We'll play welder up on that too. How crooked does our bolt look? No, the bolt looks halfway okay-ish. See? Halfway okay-ish. Yeah, I think we'll just knock this back, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 1.5 miles, something like that. Hound dog, handsome hound dog. What's the hound dog doing? Nothing. Oh, he always wants to come out, so he's not being abused. He's getting what he wants.
Rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat.
I left these ears on here because I thought maybe I could bend them back, make them provide more structure. I don't think they're gonna. I'm gonna cut those off, cut the other one off this side, maybe trim just a little bit more off that bushing over there, and then we'll have it back together and ready for when Wyatt gets home tonight, so he can stack some nice looking beads on there and weld those to the frame, and we'll have that bad boy stuck. Wish I could do that. Yeah. Yeah, you can't really do it. Man, having that light under there is really exposing how bad the bodywork is so far. We need to turn that light off. I'm not done, honest.
I'll be damned! I was actually welding the crack.
How about that? You welded the crack?
Yeah. I thought I was honestly just running along the frame rail.
Well, that's what I usually do, is I get one piece or the other, but not both.
Alright, I feel good about that now.
Okay.
What do you think, Antonio? Oh, good. Hey, what is it?
I don't know.
Hey, Mr. George, how much you pay for the new guy? $20? Oh, too much money. No good operator.
He's a better operator than me. Just like that, you know, in about 30 minutes or 3 or 4 separate days, depending on, you know, whether you're me or you, we've got cab mounts. So here they are. And it should be pretty easy to see why I wanted Wyatt to weld those instead of me. Here's our cab mount bolts going through the factory holes. Yep, we're going to have to get some shorter bolts because I needed a 1/2 inch of washers in order to keep it from hitting the frame. But we're getting there. And then the cardboard you see everywhere is going to be a little clue to what's coming next week. We're going to do some more custom sheet metal work. Just a peek. Okay, that's enough for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. We appreciate you coming back. I could have cut this shorter, cut out all the mistakes I made, but I figure if you're learning like me, you're going to make mistakes too, so you can see what I tried that didn't really work and avoid that on yours. So a few extra minutes on the video will save you a whole bunch of time in your shop. As always, we appreciate you coming back. If you haven't seen the earlier videos on how we got to where we're at on this truck, you can check them out. They're all in the same playlist. There's some shorts with it too, just some goofy, funny stuff. And I appreciate you coming back and seeing us. It ain't always easy, but we'll get through it. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.